都是我们Chinese American 啊。然后呢，他呢，实际上他是出生在一个非常专业的一个政治的世家啊，他的父母亲全都是政坛的精英，他的表哥呢，就是说是应该是，说实话是我们众议院的非常响当当的人物吧，可能差不多就是 Nancy Pelosi 之类的，就是下面差不多就是说这么一个差不多的等级的啊。那么他这次呢，他也是我们实际上做了很多年的这个纽约市市议员，然后这次呢，他主要是要参选我们 Queensboro President 皇后区的区长这个职务啊。所以呢，我现在呢就是说把让他的更要好的一位朋友 Nelson 来介绍他啊，更加他们呢认识的时间很长，然后呢他更好的介绍一下那个。Hi Elizabeth. So basically I just briefly talked about your background. So now I will hand into Nelson, which I told everyone that you have a lot of good friends in Asian American. And I think you actually, when you first start career, I think you worked something related to construction, which is similar to my background, I think. But yeah, and you served as city council members, and also now you're running for the Queensboro president. So yeah, so you have a lot of experience, and you have you know exactly what Asian Americans in New York City wants, and you always speak for us. This is I know. So now I'm gonna hand into Nelson. Nelson will talk more about you.
Thank you.
So I knew Elizabeth through my wife. They actually goes to the same like grade school from grade 1, right, Elizabeth? Something like that.
Yes, elementary and grammar school.
And grammar school. My wife wasn't from a well-off family, but but for Asian, education is like first. So they actually went to one of those private schools. I heard that it cost like a few thousand per semester, something like that. And Elizabeth is like the sweetheart among, she's the 14th of the 15 children of her family. And how she related to Jay was that she is actually the presidential scholar with a Master of Science in City and Regional Planning from Pratt Graduate School. And she's the first woman and the only Democrat who had ever won the 30th New York Council District. And I knew from my wife that Liz has been, her whole family has been in politics, and she personally has been involved in a lot of restorative New York landmark, including the Radio City Hall, the Central Synagogues, and the holiest of all, because she's Irish, St. Patrick Cathedral, right? That's the holiest of all for all the Irish people probably in the whole world. It's better than the ones in Ireland, right? The St. Patrick Cathedral, and I think that says a lot. And she's always passionate about fighting for children, and I just met her earlier at her new office opening around 5, and I stress that for us Asian, education is very important, because I think education changed life. I had the good fortune to meet Elizabeth, despite my wife, when they were growing up, they were not well off, but they still sent my wife to private school and things like that. And it was well worth it. I think a lot of us coming to America is because of the education, and maybe you want to retire here, because education changed life. My wife ended up like getting everything free, right, including college, for the pharmacy program, just maybe from the grade school. So I guess all of you guys did very well. It's well worth it. The ROE, they're all investment groups, so the ROE worth it. I think so. That's it. Is there anything that you need me to, I missed? Can you want to add on this?
Yeah, I think probably we give a chance to Elizabeth so she can speak for herself and let everybody know her. Hopefully more and more people can know you, then vote for you during the coming election.
Yes, thank you, Jay. And thank you, Nelson, for that wonderful introduction. I am happy to be with the CASA organization tonight to talk about the race for Queensborough president. I came from a family of immigrants, and like Nelson said, I didn't come from much money. My father died when I was very young, and my mother struggled to keep all of us in school and making sure that education was always a top priority. And in my family, it's very similar to the newcomers, especially those who are coming from Taiwan, China, or any of our Eastern Asian or European countries. A lot of times people come here as new Americans and work much harder than those who've been here for many generations. What we cannot take for granted is a good education. And it is so important. I firmly believe that every child should have access to a good school no matter where they live in Queens. Both of my opponents, I'm running with 3 people in the race. Both of my opponents oppose the standardized test as the sole marker of excellence for our specialized high school. I support the specialized high school entrance exam test, the SHSAT. My 2 opponents are against it. That's how we are majorly different, in addition to the gifted and talented programs, which I'd like to expand into every school district in the city, especially in Queens. And the last time we built new high schools in Queens was when I was in a council district representing as a council member. And that was Maspeth High School, right near the school that Angelina and I went to, St. Albert's, as a young grade schooler. I also think it is important to invite businesses, big businesses and small businesses, to open shop here. My opponents, one was a protesting Amazon and the other one did nothing to help, was a part of the council hearing that made them change their mind and leave Queens. And lastly, I will touch upon public safety because we are facing a crisis right now. We have seen significant crime increase, murder, rape, and gun violence, in addition to hate crimes, specifically targeting our Asian community. Our brothers and sisters in Flushing or Bayside, anywhere in Queens, should not feel threatened when they leave their home because of who they look like, where they come from, or what they believe in. Nowhere in Queens do we have room for hate. We need to build tolerance and prosecute anybody for committing a hate crime. Additionally, both of my opponents want to defund the police. They voted last year and said that taking $1 billion out of the police department was not enough. And because of that, we have fewer police officers today protecting us. I believe we need our police on our streets, keeping us safe. So when you think of Elizabeth Crowley, know that I support schools and education. I stand by our East Asian and Asian Pacific Islander community and will fight against any hate crime and support additional police officers. And I am somebody who understands that the borough president's office needs to be open for businesses to help businesses, small and large, grow here in Queens. Thank you for having me on today.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Yeah, so I know you are the person that, because we met in Nelson's, I think, the party, right, last time. And we talked about, so I know you are the person never afraid to speak up for Asian Americans. So during this period, so I probably can represent most of our members. Now, please, so when you have a chance to be a borough president, please help us to, a lot of points that Asian Americans always focus on, like education, safety, vaccines. These are the things that, every day I heard from my parents, my family member, my friends talking about. So I know you have a lot of network and experience in these areas. Please help us to speak up. And I hopefully you have a very good campaign. And Nelson and I believe after you speak today, a lot of our members will fully support you.
Thank you. And just lastly, Jay and Nelson, I think you know this, but I would like all the participants to also know that our campaign is a grassroots campaign. We have gotten hundreds of contributions, more than our opponents. And every time we get a contribution from a New York City resident, the city of New York matches it 8-1. So a contribution of $175 turns into $1,575. Our campaign is in a dead heat. Our opponent and my race, opponent Donovan Richards from Southeast Queens, and I are tied. We need to break the tie. And the only way we do that is by getting our message out there and making sure the voters come out to vote. And the best way to do that is by raising the funds to be in people's mailboxes and on the TV and in the newspapers they read. And that's our plan. And that's how we're going to get more people out to vote. Thank you.
Thank you. So I guess, Elizabeth, so if you can probably copy your contact link or something in the chatting room. So then later on, the members probably can see and can visit and to know more about you, how to support you, things like that. All right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Nelson, 你有没有什么需要补充的？还是我们反正就是说差不多开始？
我们可以开始。
OK， 好，那你跟那个 Elizabeth 说一下，就是说，那我们就开始正题啊。
Okay, Liz, thank you so much, and we will be in touch. All right? 他走了，他应该走了。
对，这他静音了，没事。
是
OK，
好，Thank you。那个，我们刚才呢，两位，因为呢，通常呢，我们这个活动啊，前面几次呢，可能我估计是时间选在晚上啊，人来的特别早。前面几次一般都过了差不多半个小时左右呢，才会就是人陆陆续续进来。那么今天人还是进来的比较多的，就是感觉啊，可能是晚上的原因啊。那么现在我们终于可以开始我们的正题啊，我们的正题。那么刚才我稍微已经说了一点，那么就是说我们今天呢，首先出场闪亮登场的呢，是我们来自新加坡的朋友，他们两位呢，刚才也跟着我们美国的朋友也听了40多分钟的，就是说跟